Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button, leave a like down below. Now in today's video, I want to talk about 2K25 and how it's pretty much confirmed that it's going to be on PS4 and the Xbox One. Now I don't have any like secret documents or any leaks or people talking to me or anything like that. I'm just looking at what's out there right now, the landscape of gaming and how everything's been going. So to start this off, I want to talk about the install base of the current gen hardware. I keep wanting to say next gen, but it's current gen. We're 4 years in. We're about to go into year 5. And the PS5 Pro has just been announced for $700 with no disk drive. Just a big kick in the nuts. But yeah, the install base. Let's look at the install base of these systems. Now, I don't have all these numbers and everything, but when you look at this and you see that so many players are still playing on older hardware, it makes too much sense to not release the system or release the games on last gen hardware. You have to do it. I mean, the revenue's there. It's free money. You've already have these people that buy the game every single year that look forward to it. They're not going to upgrade just for a wrestling game. They'll just keep playing the old game because, let's face it, they don't really do that much to change these games every year. Just a few bells and whistles, a new facelift. I mean, essentially, you could play one of these 2K wrestling games for probably an entire console generation because there's so much you can do with them. That's why it kills me with all the features and all the modes in these wrestling games, specifically the 2K ones. We don't need a new one every year. Like, take your time and cook. Imagine if 2K or Visual Concepts had time to cook like a 2, maybe 3 year wrestling game cycle. Do you have any idea how incredible that game would be? It would probably be the greatest wrestling game ever made, depending on if you like the gameplay or not. They'd have time to fix the bugs. Could redo the story mode. They could redo the universe mode. We could get the old career mode back, which I miss. I mean, there's so many things they could do with 3 years versus 8 months. I mean, kills me that they have to get these out every year. Anyway, so the first thing I wanted to talk about was the install base. The PS5, and I have the numbers right here in front of me. According to Microsoft Bing, the PS5 currently, as of 2024, has sold 67.3 million PS5s. That's pretty good. But there's still a huge amount of players still playing on the PS4 and PS4 Pro. So naturally, you're going to want to create games or your wrestling game that's a sports game still on last gen hardware to maximize revenue. Now let's look at the Xbox series of consoles. According to Microsoft Bing, as of 2024, the Xbox Series X and S have sold a combined total of 27.7 million units, and the sales of the console have pretty much come to a halt, according to other YouTubers and reports, for Xbox in particular, because of the fact people don't know what their messaging is. Are you going multi-platform? Are you still in the console race? Are you just going to do Game Pass? Like, what is the future of Xbox? I have an Xbox Series X. I love the system. In fact, the system itself I like better than the PlayStation 5. However, all these stupid things that they keep doing has basically made me stick to the PlayStation and buy most of my games on PlayStation. And if Sony keeps doing all these bonehead decisions by increasing PS Plus, raising the prices of their consoles within the generation, it's not even the next gen system yet. It's just the same system with less innards to make it cheaper. You know, the PlayStation 5 Slim, but then they're charging more. What are we doing? We're 4 years in. You should be lowering the price. Oh, but inflation and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. You're just greedy. And increasing the price of the controllers. I mean, the fact that they have no competition with Microsoft because they're releasing their first-party games on their biggest competitor when they're at a... I mean, I know this isn't wrestling related, but I have to say this real fast. Microsoft was so close to becoming the default system with all these companies they bought with the Activision Blizzard purchase imagine if all those games became exclusive, except for Call of Duty, because, Call of Duty, they did that contract and everything. I mean, we're talking Diablo, we're talking Doom, we're talking Indiana Jones, we're talking Spyro, we're talking Crash, we're talking tons and tons of games that could have been exclusive. Xbox could finally have recouped after all these years of their fans waiting. And what do? Well, the higher-ups at Microsoft force them to release their games on multiple consoles because they want that investment of $70 billion that they bought Activision for back immediately. They don't want to wait. They've given Xbox enough time, and, well, unfortunately, Xbox failed. But they were this close. They were right there. We were right there to finally have major competition against Sony. And now that Microsoft has decided to release their games everywhere, Sony can just get away with charging $700 for a Pro console. Ugh. So I'm a little worried about the future of the gaming business as far as Sony is concerned. So anyway, so those are the raw numbers. Now, the second thing that would make me believe that it's obviously coming to last-gen hardware, we're talking about the games. I kind of went off on a tangent there. The reason why the games would definitely come to last-gen hardware is because look at how they're structured. Look how they're made. They're basically designed for the Xbox One and PS4 and then just upscaled and ported to the new systems. I mean, look at My Rise mode. That's a huge indicator. Look how it's structured. It's very low bearing on the hardware, where you're just talking, you're not really moving around at all, and it's just menu hell. You go to this menu, you talk to this person. You go to this menu, you talk to this person. You change your stats. You look at your phone, and then you go do a match, and that's it. It's just rinse and repeat. There's really no innovation there, probably because they have to make it on the Xbox One and the PS4. So that's probably a huge reason too, because look at 2K22 to 2K23 to 2K24. It's essentially the same game, just with marginal graphical upgrades. Now, the created wrestlers look way better in 2K24. I'll give them that. But everything else is pretty much the same. The gameplay didn't change much. They just changed the AI of the wrestlers that you face. They attack a little differently. They counter a little differently. But for the most part, it's essentially the same game. So if they want to make a next-gen only version of the game where it can only work on modern hardware, they're going to have to fundamentally change some core mechanics, which A, they don't have enough time for, B, probably not enough money for, or manpower either. So it just makes sense to release it on PS4, Xbox One, and upscale it to the new systems. But the whole reason I made this video, I'll get to the point here. If you've listened this long, I appreciate it. You're a champ. The whole reason I made this video is because of this one huge leak that happened in the last week or two. And that is the leak of the Nintendo Switch 2 and its power and its functionality and everything. So according to Spawnwave, shout out to Spawnwave, if you don't know who that is, I'm sure you do. He's one of the biggest YouTubers. He's awesome. He's a super genius when it comes to how hardware works and functions. He does teardowns and all that stuff. Super cool YouTuber, one of my favorites. According to him, based off those leaked images, the Switch 2 is as powerful as a PS4 in handheld, and in docked mode, it's as strong as a PS4 Pro, maybe even an Xbox One X. That is awesome, if you ask me. And it makes a lot of sense for 2K25 to release on PS4 and Xbox One, because, oh, look at that. You got a whole nother system, a whole nother console, a whole nother user base that you can port the game to with minimal effort. Now, 2K18, I believe it was, that was on the Switch, was a disaster. It was awful. It was terrible. I can't believe they left it up on the eShop for as long as they did after that game came out, because they never fixed it. They released it, and that was it. It was done. And they didn't try 2K19, 20. Oh, can you imagine 20 on the Switch? Whew. That would have been bad. But if the Switch 2 is on par with the PS4 and PS4 Pro / Xbox One, what's to stop them from releasing 2K25 on there as well? And what's really cool and has me really excited about that is if the Switch 2 launches during the March and April of next year, basically WrestleMania season, we could have 2K25 basically be a launch title for the Switch 2. It could be like the de facto sports title that launches with the system. That would be huge for both, well, Nintendo, if you're a wrestling fan, because let's face it, the Switch and the Wii, or what is it, the Wii U, didn't really have very good wrestling games. In fact, I think there might be 2 wrestling games across those 2 systems. I don't think there's any wrestling games on the Wii U, but on the Switch, we got Wrestling Empire, we got Chiki Chiki Boxy Pro Wrestling, which is a really odd Japanese wrestling game with blocky characters. I don't even consider it a wrestling game. It's just in the wrestling family. And then we got AEW Fight Forever, which is fun to play. In fact, I think that's probably the best wrestling game for handheld play. If you want to play it on the go, do a match here and there, that's probably your best bet because you can get a match in real quick. But as far as like a true de facto big time wrestling game from the main company WWE, they haven't had jack since the Wii. So it would be awesome. And what a return to form too, being a launch title. I would love that. And it might be the only like actual physical version of the game, although it'll be physical on the PlayStation 5. I don't know if the Xbox Series will get a physical edition because everything's going digital, but assuming the Switch 2 is physical. It'd be funny if it launches and it's just a digital console. But yeah, I'm super excited. I really hope, I kind of hope it comes to last gen, mainly because of the Switch 2. Anyway, sound off the comments below. Do you think I'm onto something here, or do you think I'm crazy? As always, thank you for watching, and stay frosty.